How you doing, everyone? Welcome to Mr. Who's Read. Today I want to go over a few things before you go out and make that saltwater aquarium purchase. I want to talk about location, shape, and size of your new aquarium. Let's start with location. What's the best spot for your new aquarium? There's some spots you just want to avoid, like the kitchen. Stay out of the kitchen unless you're going to get a cookie. If you're looking for a spot for your aquarium, it's a no-no. Temperatures in kitchens fluctuate. When you turn the oven on, the temperature rises, and so does your aquarium water. So that's not a good idea. The next location you should try to avoid is rooms with a lot of sunlight. While sunlight's great for getting a tan, it's not good for your new aquarium. It's going to cause all kinds of problems with algae. And you may already have a problem with algae to begin with, so you don't need any help. Secondly, you don't want to locate the aquarium next to a window, where between the hot glaring sun and the cold temperatures in the winter and the drafts, it's going to cause temperatures to fluctuate in your aquarium. You want to look for an area that's not completely out of the way, that you're never going to see the tank, but in a calm area where the fish are going to be calm and they'll stay a lot healthier. So now, you think you got a spot picked out? Just remember one thing. A fully stocked aquarium weighs about 10 pounds a gallon. So even a 55-gallon aquarium would weigh 550 pounds. That's a lot of weight in one spot. While we're talking about floor structure, let's look at this. You're probably saying to yourself, is this clipped from this old house? And what the heck is Norm doing with a bag on his head? I just want to give you a better idea of what your floor structure looks underneath. Okay, so now you're in your basement. A typical house is going to be framed with 2x8 floor joists, where this is truss construction. But the principle is the same. I want to give you a clear understanding of what I mean about the position of the aquarium on the floor above. So what I did, I cut out a styrofoam, the basic footprint of a 90-gallon tank. It's 18 inches deep by 4 foot wide. If you would place the aquarium on this wall, you'd see that it's only sitting on one single joist, which would be here. Now you're putting all the load and the weight of the aquarium on one joist. Where if you cross the joist like this, you're going to be distributing that weight on 1, 2, 3, 4 joists. So the weight of the aquarium will be distributed to 4 joists rather than on one. There's a less chance that over time, from the weight of the aquarium, that you'll deal with any deflection of the trusses or joists and cause a problem up above. Alright, so now we've got the location nailed down. You picked out a beautiful spot for your new aquarium. Now let's move on to shape. There's lots of different shapes out there. There's a corner tank, a square, a rectangular tank, a hexagon, even a circle. Well, does it matter? Should you just pick an aquarium that you think looks good? Well, that would be great and all, but there's only one problem. The aquariums you want to stay away from are the real deep aquariums with a small footprint. Why? There's a number of issues. Let's start off with lighting. Most of what's in your tank, especially if you're going to keep a reef tank, needs high intensity lighting. So with a deep tank, it may be intense at the top, but as you get to the bottom of the surface, you're going to lose that intensity, and the spectrum will be off. You want to try to avoid real deep tanks. They have large volumes of water. The only problem is they have a very small footprint. There's a much bigger surface area on a wide, shallow tank than there is a deep, narrow tank. The problem with that is aeration. That's what goes on the surface of the water. The more surface area, the more aeration, the healthier the tank will be. Less dead zones. Now, dead zones is great if you're watching a zombie movie, but in your fish tank, it's not something you want. The other problem with deep tanks is overstocking. when you're new to the hobby, you want to put lots of fish. Well, the problem with a small aquarium with a big volume of water, well, you have the large volume of water, but you don't have the space for the fish. Fish are very territorial, so they're going to look for lots of spaces to hide. Plus, have you ever seen a fish swim up and down? They swim side to side. So the smaller the footprint, the less space they have to swim. So always, if you can, try to go with a wide aquarium and stay away from those real deep tanks. The other problem with a deep tank with a small footprint is the floor structure underneath. It's a lot of weight in one small area, where a wider tank will displace that weight better. Finally, let's talk about size. And size does matter when it comes to the saltwater aquarium. You want to try to get the biggest tank that, one, you could fit in the location you picked out, two, that you could afford, and three, that your wife will let you get. Bigger is also better because the volume of water. The bigger the volume of water, the less fluctuations you're going to have with temperature, pH, and salinity. But remember, the bigger the tank, the more maintenance, the more glass there is to clean. The benefit is you'll have stable water, and that's what you want. And if something does go wrong, it'll give you a little bit more time to react to it. What is all this information good for? It just better prepares you so that when you're in the store to make that purchase, you make a better decision. So in the long run, your fish are healthier, you're happier, and you can enjoy the hobby. So now you see how shape, size, and location all tie in together. How one affects the other. Well, you want to find the biggest tank, but you also want the best location. So think about all three. So you can come up with the best shape, size tank, with the best spot in your house. This way, you'll have a better chance at success. Well, good luck.